Now I'm at the hospital. This is where the story gets really interesting. My house was up for sale for 2 years. 2 years in a horrible market because my ex-wife wanted to sell it, and that was one of the things that led to a lot of the friction in the marriage. We'd put a pool in, we'd put $120,000 in upgrades into the house. It's been up for sale for 2 years. We've got a divorce that is still a court date scheduled for a month from now. We need to unload this property. Guess what the closing day was? The 15th of February. So now it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm on the phone calling my realtors in the middle of the night saying, when you wake up, I think I'm gonna have to sign power of attorney over. They wake up, call me at 7, don't do that. We'll send a closing agent to the hospital. You can close your documents in the hospital. Craziest half hour starts at 10:30. I'm closing the documents with Amy sitting here, who has just met my mother. Hey, here's my new girlfriend. I know I'm not divorced yet, but and my brother, and I'm closing the documents, and the woman who's the closing agent stamps something. She's a notary public, and I said, a notary public. Oh, no. And I said, will you stamp something else for me? And she says, yes, but I have to meet the person. What is it? I said, it's my dad's will. I was supposed to get it notarized today at the Rockets office before I went to my closing because my ex-wife is still in the will and he doesn't want to go into life-saving double lung transplant surgery with my ex-wife's name still in the will. She says, okay, let's finish closing your house. 5 minutes later, I'm still closing the house. The doctors come back and they say, I'm sorry, folks, we have to go. You have 5 minutes to say your piece to him. Going into this surgery where they're literally going to cut the lungs out of his chest and put these new ones in. So we all jump up, including the closing agent I've just met 10 minutes ago. We go back. I go to my dad. I say, Dad, do you really want to do this right now? I'm sure it'll be fine. No, I want my will updated. I said, okay. Literally, I beat him in the bed. He signs the papers, stamps it. I said, by the way, this is my new girlfriend as of 36 hours. Her name's Amy. I'm in the middle of closing my house, Dad. That's why the notary republic's here. It's not just a coincidence. I turn around. I am now 2 feet from the back of my dad's bed, and I am at this little doctor's stand closing it, sporadically losing it down, sobbing, sucking a deep breath in, going back to closing. The closing agent starts crying and sobbing. I finish closing. She gives me this big kiss and hug, says, God bless you. We turn around. Right at that point, my assistant of 15 years, a little short, heavy-set guy that's been with me the whole time, you might recognize, comes into the hospital just in the nick of time, says the Lord's Prayer with us in a circle, and the doctors literally take the gurney and the bed out of the circle of prayer. And they said, I'm sorry, folks, but we have to start the surgery because the lungs have to be ready to be put in as soon as they get into the hospital. So the one message that I would like to leave with you guys from that story is we're all stronger than we think we are. If you had told me that I could do that and multitask and go through that much emotion and uncertainty and pain all in a half-hour period, I would have said you're crazy. But in the moment, we are all stronger than we think we are. If you had told me when I was 250 pounds that I could lose that weight in 6 months and run a marathon in 3 hours and 46 minutes at an 8:30 pace, and then do the half the next year at a 7:30 pace, and then the year after that, run the whole thing in my Clutch the Bear costume, I would have said you're nuts. But the point is we never know really how powerful we can be until we're in that situation. This is Rob Heidemann listening to his son Ian Heidemann's lungs inside of my dad's chest. That's Janice listening to her son's lungs in my dad's chest. Reggie received her son's heart. This is my ex-wife. I retired from the Rockets and they threw a party for me. Francis actually attended. Everybody in my family wanted to go to the game, or wanted to go to the party. My wife, my parents, everybody. We had no sitter. My ex-wife is one of our best friends now. She babysat our brand new twins as well as our twins. So, if you're committed to a positive outcome, and we're getting close, right, Francis? Yeah. So I found a calling. You're going to see these billboards around town. There's 4 of them that go up November 14th, and they'll be up rotating around town for a year. Next slide.